Hi, welcome to the Industry Show. I'm your host, James Winborn, and today I'm here with Rex, Brian, and Reggie. Thank y'all for being my guest today.
Thanks for inviting me.
You're welcome. You're welcome. We're talking about a little bit behind the scenes work today. We want to know what does it take to make a film behind the scenes, the process that people don't understand and know about. That's my goal today is to shed a little light on that. But first, I want to know for y'all that's in the industry, what drew y'all into the film industry? What makes y'all want to work in this industry?
Oh, you want to start it off? Or?
Go ahead, man.
Well, the film industry, I would say growing up watching TV and getting a lot of influences from television shows and stuff like that because I come from a real small family. So seeing the large family in sitcoms like Fresh Prince and stuff like that drew me to it. And then I learned more and more going on. I was like, maybe I can, because they were, for me, the things that I didn't have. I was like, maybe I can inspire people and be a big influence in other people's lives in the ways that I never known like they do.
Right.
So it really got me into wanting to be like before influence was a thing because it was the 90s.
Right.
So kind of sort of like an influencer kind of thing. I want to touch people in different ways and, influence and inspire. So that's what brought me to wanting to do television.
Okay. Brian, what about you?
I started from the first film I saw, James Bond, Thunderbolt. I was in.
Okay.
So from that point on, I always wanted to get into filmmaking, any part of it, any way. I wasn't sure which way I was going to come into it. But then as I got older, I picked up more and more in the carpentry field and set building and that kind of thing. So that's where I wanted to enter in the production design. But I kind of came into that from the back end because, for me, life started, family and all of that stuff, so I couldn't go to school for it.
Right.
Yet. So I finally got in with an independent production, and then I just kept building it from there and just kept doing production design, production management.
Okay.
And here we are.
That's awesome.
Right.
Reggie, what about you? What drew you initially into the film industry? Reggie's on virtual for y'all out there.
What's up, everybody? So, I think it's a question that I've definitely addressed before, but for me, it's the art of storytelling, right? It's understanding how we as creators can create in ways that can transition the stories that we create in our minds. We write down and then convey it by way of visual art, and then boom, from there, it's like, it's conceptualized, and from there now you're making this beautiful artwork, what we call movie making or short film making or whatever. So like for me, it's always been just the art of storytelling, being able to create individually, right? And I say individually strongly because we all are creators, and it takes us to tap into what we're good at to find out what we create, right? So just understanding that from that standpoint, and then be able to conceptualize it and put into storytelling, to me, that's what really kind of drew me in into wanting to just what I like to do. What I like to say is you're telling a story when you're movie making.
I think the common thing that we all have is the art, the ability to create is the beauty of this industry. It's like playing as being a kid. You make believe. You imaginary friends or whatever it would be. But now we as adults, we have a vision or a creativity to do something like this, and it's like continuing our childhood, right?
I was gonna say, if I could cut in for you, when you mentioned that, I kind of thought back to being a kid.
Yeah.
Kids play with toys. I wasn't just banging toys up. I was making full storylines and backstories for all my toys.
The dialogue,
today,
right? Yeah.
Today is mom and dad, or today is warriors fighting.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I used to have them all lined up, all across the room, and that
oh my God, right.
creativity just brings it up.
And I always
and I'm right
watch.
there. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Brian.
I'm just saying, like I can relate because I was like that growing up. Like I was a big wrestling fan. So for me, playing with the wrestling men, the rings, already understanding by watching wrestling how stories are created. Because back then, I believed wrestling was real. I'm like, man, these people are beating each other up. But after seeing the basis, knowing like, okay, he just got his butt kicked the week before, but he's back on the mic a couple days later. All right, is, right? So for me, even as a young kid, being able to, like Rex said, bring that into my own world. One of my favorite movies, even now as an adult, is Toy Story, right? Because they take what we as kids and they conceptualize it, right? Like toys coming to life and doing things. I got this little joke now with my daughter who's 4. Like when she goes to sleep, I move her baby dolls and toys, and then she wakes up and she's like, "Oh, this moved and that moved." Right? It's like the art of storytelling, right? She's
Okay.
seen Toy Stories, like
Yeah.
you know, it's the art of storytelling and conceptualizing it. So that's the beauty of it.
Okay. Brian, what was you about to say?
I always, for me, whenever I watched a film or I watched TV, I always went to the background. Like I always like, well, how was that? You know, where did the car come in at? What was where was the coffee cup in the last shot?
Right, yeah.
In the next?
That's me. That's me, yeah.
That's how I always visualized it. So I wanted to be a part of that because I knew somebody had to be doing
to do that. Yeah. Yeah, okay. So, Brian, let me ask you a question. I got a question for you. What are some of the sets that you've been a part of, and what did you help create? Yeah, many of them, right?
It's a lot. I've done plays anywhere from small setups to actual fabrications of complete sets, rooms, walls, doors, windows, that kind of setup. I've done like special events. I've done 2 features.
Okay.
Changing the Game and Brotherly Love were the 2
Okay.
that I was production designer on. And basically, that was a challenge because they were both, quote unquote, what do they call them? Indie lights.
Okay, yeah.
Lights. And so there wasn't a huge budget. There wasn't a lot of prep time, which is one of my biggest pet peeves in production design.
Yeah.
Everybody spends a whole lot of time with the script and everything else, but nobody wants to spend a month or 2 and say to the production designer, okay, this is what we're doing.
Right.
Now you have time to go make that happen. I've always had to do it in 2 weeks, in a week.
Yeah, not enough
and all
time,
of a sudden, now I'm got to ramp up for a feature film. And that's no small feat to do.
Right.
But that's the kind of stuff, the range of what I've done.
So what has been to date your biggest set you had to design, though? Or that may have been the most challenging for you?
I want to say Brotherly Love was probably the most challenging.
Yeah.
Because that one was 12, 13 different sets.
Oh, wow. That's a lot.
We ran on that one, we shot for 26 days, I want to say. I averaged about 2 hours, 3 hours sleep a night.
Oh, what? 26 days. Wow.
So we would just nonstop. I would get phone calls at 3 in the morning and, I'm visualizing where we're going to be doing the next thing.
Right.
And they tell me, oh, no, we're not going to do it there. We're going to do this over here. Or we change which sequence we were going to do stuff at. And now I've got to move my crew and everything on a minute's notice. So I was up basically.
I know you was glad when that was over. I know
the last day I was.
You probably slept through the premiere.
I told my fiance she always comes down usually at the last day.
Right.
Because she knows by that point I'm done.
Right.
And when I see her, I just look at her and go, okay, you decide whatever we doing, tell me where I'm doing, because at that point I don't even know where I am.
Where I'm at.
Checked out.
That's funny. That's a good story. It's good to share that information. Rex, being a gaffer on set, what is your responsibility? What is a gaffer?
Basically, whatever is needed, whatever you need. If they need somebody with help with the lights, anybody to set up, anybody on audio, I'm basically, which actually really relates to me as myself as a jack of all trades that jump around in different aspects of production. Being a gaffer it comes a little natural because like you said, you have to adapt. So it's what you need for this, I do that. What you need for that, I do this. So
and being in the independent world, that role is so varied. Anyway, you could do a lot as a gaffer. We just use the word like a gaffer or a grip or something. You know, it could be something simple as you just moving equipment that day. You know, it could be. It's going to how people you have on set.
Right.
But a lot of people, they see these credits at the end of these movies, and they don't know what these positions are. And that's why I definitely wanted to bring you on here today to talk about some things like that. But being a gaffer is
the missing piece.
Yeah.
Honestly, even if somebody don't show up, if you have that experience,
Right.
you lighting today,
Yeah,
you
right.
audio today,
Right.
Like you said, you might just be moving bags, you might
Right.
be picking up donuts,
So, right. And they take the PA job too, right?
PA.
Yeah.
Oh, can you go get the actors for me? All right, get them off lunch or whatever
Yeah.
they doing.
Right.
Oh, they got this. I need you to go pick this up. I need you to go do this. And oh, bro, I need another lens real quick. Can you go grab that lens for me? So,
All right, cool. All right, so Reggie, I got a question for. I know you're definitely doing a great job on our sets with lighting. So, what goes into the process of lighting a scene? I think we lost the audio for Reggie.
No, my bad. That was me.
There you go.
Sorry. I think understanding the mood and theme of your scene, right? Lighting is all about, well, not all about, but lighting, a large part of lighting is mood. It's easy to light everyone up, right? Like that's the first aspect you want, is to make sure things are well lit. Well, sometimes, a scene may be dark and you just need to see the individual, or you need to see certain aspects of it, right? So it's like mood lighting is definitely something that me personally, I kind of go to first. I'm like, okay, what is the scene like? What's going on? Is it a happy scene? Like we worked on a scene a few weeks ago. We were in a bar, and
Right.
it was like, okay, light it up like a bar, right? Like let's turn off the house lights, but let's replicate what the house lights are, right? And so it's like understanding the theme, understanding the feel of it, and then just understanding the details. Like lighting can't make or break your film, because at the end of the day, if you got good writing, you got good directing, audio, you can get away with a lot of lighting things, but it really sets you apart from what can be cinematic versus just another film.
Right,
So,
just from the look itself, yeah.
Right.
Okay.
And I think for most of all of us here, that product that you finish with gives the director and post-production the idea, and the concept is always give them more than they need.
Right, yeah.
So that when in post, they're able to work with it and give more. So that's where lighting, all of those things, if you give them enough options and enough stuff to work with, and then inevitably there's always something that goes wrong. We drop or something goes wrong. Yeah. But if that post editor has enough to work with, they can still make it work.
Right,
because you gave them something to work with.
Yeah. Absolutely. And Ben, to add, if I can, to add to it, Ben just said,
Brian,
to me,
Brian.
the editor. I'm sorry, Brian. I'm sorry. I apologize, Brian.
Okay.
To me, the editor is the final storyteller, right? You have all sorts of storytellers. You yourself, who is a set designer, you set the tone for what the set is, right? You yourself have to, I'm pretty sure, what's the mood of the scene, what's happening in the scene, right? To be able to set that. So that's a form of storytelling, from the acting all the way down to the lighting, right? So the editors, when they get everything that, we done produced and put together, good, bad, and ugly, they are the ones that have to put the story together with what we give them. So
it's funny. It's funny you said that, Reggie. When I first met Brian, one of the questions, we were sitting in a hallway one time. We were talking with Rob, who was the director, and the questions that you were asking him was, I was like, wow, like, because I could really tell you do this, like you was asking what was the mood of the things and what you need to be in that room and why. I was like, dang, he really serious about this. But yeah, it's a lot to set design. People, that's why
And people sometimes make the mistake of crossing production design and art department. Art department is its own group,
right?
But art department is responsible to production design.
Okay.
So in production design, you oversee every single piece of whatever anybody sees. That's what you're responsible for. Now you have to learn how to delegate to the art department, to the people, to the gaffers, different people, to be able to say, I need you to do this, I need this here, I need to whatever. But at the end of the day, all of that stuff underneath, you're where the buck stops.
Okay.
At the production designer.
All right.
To jump in on Reg, when he was talking about lighting, people don't understand the importance of lighting. It's just,
Very
like he
important.
said, it makes the entire scene what it is. Like I worked on sets where people were like, all right, this is supposed to be a dark scene. We can make the lights real low, shut it off. I'm saying, no. You got to, everything is dark, but you have to see that profile, that face. You need to see that emotion because lighting and sound are very important. You can look real good, but if you can't hear it, people will lose interest.
Solid
It can
movie.
sound real good. if it don't look good, people will lose interest. People don't really understand just the sheer impact of what it does. And like you were saying about how post-production, everybody on the job, behind the scenes, during production, our job is to make that post-production editor his job easier.
Right.
You don't understand, like with lighting. I mean, I'm sorry, you understand. But with lighting, I hear people, oh, they'll handle it in post. They handle it in post. I'm like, listen, if you do it right here, we won't have to worry about it.
Right.
And you just cut editing down by half by just knocking out the color grading.
Right.
So I'm as much as we do on set, the least we got to do in post, the better.
Right.
Like I haven't necessarily color graded in a little minute because learning with Reggie, I've gotten really good at lighting. So, like, all right, he's like, oh, how you do this color, how you do that? I said, let me look it up real quick because I ain't done it in a while.
Right.
Because I get my stuff right the first time. But,
All right, so I have a question for all of y'all. What does the startup process usually look like on set day? Like, how many hours in advance y'all need to be there, and what is the preparation like? Like I said, this is behind the scenes talk today. I want people to understand this process. They ain't show up and just shoot.
I honestly, and I've had some very spirited conversations with a few directors about this. As far as I'm concerned as a production designer, if you finish a script and I'm going to be your production designer, let's have that conversation about what are the things you're looking for.
Right.
Rather than you're now, 6 months from writing the script and then you're getting your money and financing together, this, that, and the other. And now, I got an opening to shoot in June. I'm going to contact Brian on May 30th.
Right.
hey, I need this.
No,
right.
If you give me, because I'm that guy, once I read the script, it can be 3 months, 6 months before the actual shoot. But I'm sitting there, I'm bouncing around with my coffee in the morning. I'm thinking,
right.
Hey, right? Or I may see something and I go, hey, that could. Then I have stuff to give him feedback, or him or her feedback, and then be able to say, bring you a full concept of what we're doing, rather than it always being on the fly and last minute. And preparation, you can't get around that part of it.
Yeah, that's important.
I've seen
very important
the difference between a great project and an awful project just because
of lack of preparation. Yep.
Absolutely. You don't realize, even a music video, y'all know, even people think, oh, it's a music video.
Show up and sing, right?
It's a 3-minute thing. What about no. Yeah. I've shot music videos for 2 days, 3 days.
Yeah.
For that 3 minutes.
Yeah. People don't understand the amount of shots you got to take, too.
Right.
For every music video, they probably ran through that song 15, 20 times.
Yep.
Right.
A scene. Like
right.
they hear, that's 20 shots over there. They hear, that's 20 shots over there. Going through the whole song. Like you said, preparation is key.
You love the song at the beginning of the day, and by the end of the day,
you don't want to hear it no more.
That's
I'm tired of this song. That's right.
That's my editing motto. Because when I say in the edit, I'm like, when I'm tired of looking at it, that's when it's done.
It's done, yeah. So, Rex, what's it like for you in your preparation on set?
Basically, you ever moved to a new house?
Yeah.
Basically, you just come in with a blank slate. Now let's set it up. We need those lights here. We need this here. We need the camera here. We need them over there. We need them over here.
I like that.
It's especially depends on your job as well. So, production manager as yourself, you would have a bigger responsibility to deal with. So you're probably the first person on set. You've seen it every piece as it comes in. All right, I need this here. I need this here. As everybody's showing up. So basically, it's a blank slate, and you sitting there making your painting. And like you said, the more preparation, the better. So before your talent even gets there, you want lights at least up and set up, camera, everything set up. So when they get there, all you got to do is adjust it to where you need them to be at. You don't want to wait till everybody's there and then you start.
Right. So Reggie, for lighting, what is your process like in the beginning too? Like how in advance do you have to be there to properly light a scene?
I mean, well, I think it's not just for lighting. I think just going off of what Brian said, but as a whole,
That's a whole, yeah.
production should always be that there is a physical element to pre-production.
Mm-hmm.
The physical element is, go scout where you're going to be shooting, right? Go scout to see whether this is a room that needs this type of lighting, or how hollow is the wall, is the building, right? Do I need a certain type of audio? Like, how am I going to set my audio? I should say, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like these, this is just one aspect of like the physical preparation of it, and then that helps you on, you know, the shoot date, right? Like
Right.
getting there a few hours ahead of time, setting up, doing what you got to do. But I mean, no one said anything different. I think preparation is key. The
Mm-hmm.
better you prepare, or the more your product will come out good in its production.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right.
Even then, no matter how much preparation you're going to do, I tell people, no set I've ever been on went 100%.
Right.
Whether it be a missing
It's never
battery, a missing person,
Yeah.
a light might have fell, something's going to go wrong.
never.
And
Right.
it's don't matter how much preparation you do, but the more that you do, the
Yeah.
smaller margin of error you're going to
Yeah.
get.
Absolutely.
And you have to financing, of course. At the end of the day,
Oof.
financing drives the whole train.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So I've
Yeah.
always looked at these $100 million movies. I'll watch
Yeah.
those and how they're made,
Mm-hmm.
and I say, maybe I'm not able to do it on that scale. But
Right.
these people spend 2-3 years sometimes.
Yeah. Sometimes.
Just
Yeah.
going back with drawings.
Yeah.
And, I don't really like.
I saw the
way that-
behind the scene of one of Tom Cruise movies, and it was like a 2-year preparation
2-year
for that movie.
preparation.
It was ridiculous, like
Right.
crazy.
But if you don't have the financing to do that, to me, you still have to work with that same
Yeah.
mindset
Yeah.
Yeah.
that says, okay, maybe I don't have 2 years, but
Right.
if I have a month,
Yeah.
I'm going to make the most of that month. I'm
Right.
gonna
Right.
make sure I get every point covered.
Right.
So Rex, I have a question for
James-
you. Go ahead. You want to say something? Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna finish it. Like I was gonna say, James, how many times did we go over scouting locations just for one scene? For
Yeah.
Yeah,
For
lot.
sisters, right? Exactly. We had to figure it out. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. I know the scene you're talking about. Yeah, we had to figure that out, and we did it at the end of the day. But Rex, I wanted to ask you this: you being an actor,
Yeah.
how does it help you appreciate some of these roles behind the scene? Because you're on both sides of the camera sometimes.
The crazy part is it didn't, only because the order at which I became a part of this. Because at first I was a behind the scenes person. Like you and I have, we went to college. I was a
Right.
video production editor and everything else behind
Yeah.
the scenes. But so I knew everything behind the scenes and it was already work as is. But then as I got to the front, I started to appreciate the front more because I'm just like, oh, they just acting. They're not doing much.
Yeah.
So people just, it's not that hard. Anybody can act.
Anybody can do it,
But
right?
then, so it kind of switched in reverse for me. So I appreciated acting more. But then my behind the scenes background in gaffing gave me still that appreciation because I've been there. I experienced everything. So I have a level of empathy for every person on stage. And it also helps me as well because with acting or gaffing or directing, I know exactly what the other side needs.
Right.
So it's like, all right, like people will be like, hey, can we do this? I'm like, that's not possible unless we do that.
Right.
So I can,
Yeah,
I
you
can ask and I
understand
know
it
what
more,
it
right?
is. Yeah.
That's
So-
what. Yeah, you appreciate it more.
Yeah, so I know exactly what it is. All right, as an actor, I have to do that to make their job easy.
Right.
As a gaffer or a videographer or a cinematographer or anything, I have to do this to make their job easy. Or to
Okay.
get what I want from them, I got to do this.
So Reggie, I have a question for lighting. Another one. How important is it to light an outside scene?
What do you mean? How important is it?
Because
It's-
people
it's
think
very
because you
important.
outside you won't need. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's people think because you outside you don't need lights. The sun is the light, right?
Well,
But we
yeah,
we have
I mean, like,
reflectors
when you're
and things
outside-
on set.
Mm.
Yeah. So
Right,
talk about
right.
that.
So you're
Yeah.
outside, you've got the natural light that obviously you can use, but again, it's all about when you're shooting. Obviously, if you shoot it at nighttime, you don't have the sunlight, right? You got street light, if that at all. So
Right.
you have to, have some form of lighting. But I think everybody understands, the basics of shooting when outside, right? You got the golden hours and all of that stuff. But sometimes maybe you're not able to shoot during that, or maybe your shoot goes beyond those hours, right? So it's like having to understand diffusion, how to soften light, how to use the sun without working against it, right? And so, lighting outside is very important, but it definitely does take a little more strategic, effort and making sure that you're lighting it correctly. Because again, you have a light source that you can't control, right?
Yeah,
So,
right.
for perspective, you have to work around the sun and do your best to allow it to work with you at the same time.
So
So there's
is
a
it
lot of different.
difficult? Is it difficult when the sun goes in and out of the clouds when you're shooting outside?
Hell yeah.
No, no. I mean, yeah, I mean, you
Learning, but we good now.
lighting outside, right? Just difficulty lighting outside in general. So
Right.
I think it just becomes a matter of where you're at. If you don't have any form of shading, right, meaning trees or buildings or anything that
Yeah.
can kind of help you block, well, then you better have the proper equipment out there to be able to diffuse that sun, right? So
Right.
it's
Right.
like allowing the sun to be your best friend because again, it's natural light. You can use the light. I mean, using it, you can use the light and not even think that you can use the sun and not even think that you're using, an external light source. But
Mhm.
you have to know what you're doing, right? You have to know how to bounce light. You have to know how to diffuse it. You have to know how to manipulate light, essentially. And again, when you're outside and you're working with a light source that you can't control, there's certain equipment and certain details that go into
That you
lighting
need.
when you're outside.
All right, so we only got like maybe 3 more minutes left. I want to end with this question. I would like y'all to tell what is something about movie sets that people will be surprised to learn about the process, what goes on, the difficulties, all that. That y'all can wrap up in 3 minutes here.
The magic that happens is nothing like what it is on set, and the things that you see, it's just
Final version.
it's completely different. Like say a Marvel movie, they just in a room with a bunch of green screens,
Yeah.
a bunch of pads, grass pads, but we see full cities and everything like that, and it's just people don't really understand the know-how behind making certain things happen. I've had a situation where I had to teach somebody how to do a split screen aspect. They just shot. I was like, "Yo, don't move this camera."
Right.
He's like, "All right,
Mess it up. Yeah.
He was like, and I look at, I'm like, I'm editing. I'm like, "You move this camera, I can't do the screen screen." He's like, "I didn't move it." I said, Did you tilt it?" He's like, "Yeah, but I didn't move it from its spot." So that's what you did wrong.
Right.
So it's just the know-how and the process behind making that final product. People really don't understand. Like I said before, with the multiple takes, and they think, "Oh, we just run through this once. We can just run through this twice," or "Oh, we don't need no script. We can run through this 5-minute shot,
Right.
no practice." No. So basically, that's what it is. Just the process people don't really understand, and the amount of people in the background. You might see 3 people on set, and you think, "Oh, just a cameraman." No, it's 15 people on production in the background. You show up, what's all these people doing here? But that's about it for me.
Brian, you want to say something?
For me, I think it's if you get it and the magic of doing it, it'll be like everybody says. If you do what you love doing, you'll never work a day in your life.
Right.
But it's not for everybody.
Right.
It's not for everybody.
Reggie, real quick, we got less than a minute. Anything you want to say? Final thoughts about the sets?
Nah, yeah, I just say, like I said, there's a lot of detail that goes in other than just commenting on set. I think Rex touched on it earlier. People think that it's easy acting. I'm not an in camera. I'm not an in front of the camera guy myself, but I will just say this you got to be in the zone with what you're doing. And if you don't love what you're doing, like Brian said, you know what I mean, then you shouldn't be doing it because it'll come out in your work, most definitely.
Yeah, you'll see it on the screen. Well, I thank y'all so much for being here today and explaining what the behind the scenes looks like for y'all.
Yeah.
Brian, Rex, and Reggie, thank y'all so much. Thank y'all for tuning in to the Industry Show. And I'm James Winborn. Until next time.
All right. Appreciate it.